Custer.
Jennie.
And this is the Creative Alliance Showcase here on the Flint Underground Network. Welcome to the show today. You might know Jennie actually from this show, or you might have seen her in the community filming people. She does a really good job of it. We have lots of videos online to check out at flintunderground.org. Myself, I am the Director of Development for the Creative Alliance, and I'm happy to be here today.
Also a poet.
A poet, all sorts of stuff. And if you're watching us on TV, Comcast Channel 17, we're happy to have you guys. You should check us out online though. There's plenty of videos and extended videos starting the guide at flintunderground.org.
Then we have the Flint Underground YouTube channel too, which has even more videos actually, because sometimes we don't always put the videos on the site.
Right.
So anyway.
What would you say? You do about 4 videos a month, right?
Yeah,
Cover so much stuff going on.
I bet. And then sometimes I'll have like a video that's not really Flint or doesn't quite fit, you know, into the art scene of Flint. So I don't put it on the org site, but it's kind of cool. Like I've got one right now of Marvin's Marvelous Mechanical Museum.
Okay, where's that at?
Anyway, it's in Farmington Hills and it's really cool. And there's like all these little video game or little games that you arcade games, but they're old style arcade games. Like there's people inside, statues of people like little robots talking to you, and just all kinds of crazy stuff.
And that's on the YouTube site, so check that out.
We have to plug them, but maybe it'll be a sponsor.
That's the whole point of the show, is to plug everybody locally especially. So I guess that brings us to
Tell Marvin's at Flint Underground sent you.
Give us some free tokens, Marvin.
Yeah, they said that's a really good way to do it. Never mind.
Next show. Well, you're probably asking yourself, what is a Creative Alliance? I'll tell you. A Creative Alliance is a group of artists and activists. We are painters, poets, organizers, dancers, actors, models, photographers, filmmakers, writers, DJs, musicians, designers, comedians, performers, and any other type of creative person out there. Our mission is to organize events and activities to support art, culture, education in our community. We want to encourage an atmosphere that makes people proud to live in Flint. If this sounds like an organization that you'd be interested in joining, we meet at Churchill's on Saginaw Street every Wednesday from 7 o'clock on, except the third Wednesday of the month where we have our Creative Collab Night.
You just had one last night?
Yeah, actually our guest today, one of them hosts the Creative Collab Night, so we're really excited to have him today.
Yep.
We've got Alex Markhoff, local poet, and of course the Alice from Arlow's on. So we have a pretty good show, and then we also have our beekeeper friend, Jentry? What was his name?
Jentry Farmer.
Okay.
He's a beekeeper, and I just happened to run into him on the day when he had to harvest the honey. So he let me videotape it, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah, and then we also got a video about Pauly finishing up his mural he's doing over there off Custer Street. So it's going to be a good show. We're excited to be here, and we're happy to have you guys. I forgot to say, if you want to be a member of the CA or you want to get more information, you can contact Jennie. Her email is jennie6300577@yahoo.com, or you can check out the Facebook page, flintca.org, all sorts of cool stuff online to see the CA. Let me read these events real quick. Let's see, start at Good Beans that same night, 7 o'clock, Connor Coyne's new novel, Shattering Glass. We'll have a launch party.
Yeah, he talked about it a little bit on the Art Walk video. The Art Walk video for October.
Very cool. October 26th, same night, 9 p.m. DJ Michael A. and the Wayback Machine present Night of the Living Disco down at Churchill's. Sounds like a cool show. October 30th, 7 p.m. I think that's Devil's Night. Mushroom Head Devil's Night show at the Machine Shop in Flint with 6 Seconds to Oblivion. We have a show.
Yeah, that's why I put it in there, because there's
Jason
a show.
Riasma. October 31st, Halloween, 6 p.m. Shine a Light on Student Debt at the Good Beans Cafe. Don't know what that is.
Becca,
Right, Rebecca Mickelson's putting it on, don't know what it is. Sounds cool though. November 1st, 7 p.m. at 432. Lawnmower, Dear Widow Acoustic, The Hand in the Ocean is releasing a record, Hung Up, Nick Cilino, The Standouts. Check that out, November 1st. November 2nd, there are Reiki 1 and 2 classes at 10 a.m. at the New Beginnings Fair in Burton, Michigan. Same day, November 2nd at noon. The Greater Flint Creative Alliance presents, this is actually at 1 o'clock, the 9th annual Voices Open Mic Literary Art Show. It's going to be cool down at GFAC. It's all free. It goes 1 to 7. Come on down. We're going to do a hang show, like art, visual art, and then we're also doing open mic for poetry and whatever. So check it out. November 8th, 7:30, The Local, which is a play, an original play written by members of the University of Michigan Flint, perform on the University of Michigan Flint main stage. November 9th, 7:30, at the Kungana Drum and Dance Conference at the Newman Creek Theater will be held on the north end, and that's all the events I have. It's going to be a good month.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun with Halloween and everything. All this spooky stuff going on. You know what I'd like to see though is Pauly's mural. It's on the side of the Local of the Compassion Club, which by the way, I noticed.
It's not called The Local.
What isn't that called?
No, it's
just
called
Local 430?
Nope, not at all. It was known as the Local 420.
Well, 420.
But it's called the Michigan Compassion Care Center.
420.
This is the Local. This is like
This is the Local
alcohol-free.
432. Yeah. Because that's why I remember that they were calling it that, because there was always a little bit of concern that people would be
I
confused.
think it's all like that union type of terminology.
Yeah. Well, but anyway,
the Local.
they're having a haunted house, so they've got little signs in the front yard. I've never seen it yet, so I was just curious.
Yeah, I saw the guy that runs the place swimming around with a crazy clown mask one
Oh,
night.
really?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
well,
wasn't sure what's going on.
but you know, that's where the mural is.
Yeah, it's the side of
And,
this building.
I was looking for the mural and I noticed the signs.
Yeah, the mural, I'm sure you guys saw in the last video, is like 20 foot by 60 feet. It's massive. It's a Flint history mural by our own cameraman, Pauly. So let's go to the footage.
Yeah, let's see how it ended up.
Here I am at the mural. See some of the detail is almost done. Something different.
It's come a long way in a month.
And it tells the history of Flint right there on the side of the building. Yeah.
It's a nice. It's
Yep.
a nice mural. It's gonna be up there for a while. I hope. I hope
I
he
hope
like
so.
clear coated it or something to seal it
It'll be
on
out there
there.
forever.
Yeah, forever and ever. At least until somebody tags it. But
Yeah.
it's a nice mural. So now that we're done with the Local, obviously our costs have gone way down, and we are doing ads for only $10.
Only $10.
Yeah, it's quite a deal, and that gets you either 2 30-second commercials or one 60-second commercial made by the lovely Jennie here. So this month we got a bunch of cool sponsors. Let's just roll right into it. Let's check out our underwriters.
Creative Alliance t-shirts is only $10. Whoa.
The Greater Flint Creative Alliance is not responsible for the contents of this commercial. The farseer, though not foreseen the shirt sniper, was not harmed in the making. And don't worry, we would never give Pauly a real gun.
Page's Bookstore is
And we're
locally
back.
owned and is located at
We wanna thank all of our underwriters
132
and
West 2nd
YouTube to
Street
get
in
underwriters. Just gotta
downtown
get hold of
Flint
Jennie
at
here.
Buckham Alley.
That email
Showcase
right
for
there.
local authors and artists.
So we're
Visit
back
during the
with
second
local
Friday
poet,
Art
Alice
Walk.
Markhoff, fighting Alice.
Good, thanks.
It's good to have you on the show finally.
Thanks, it's good to be here.
Yeah, man. So how long have you been writing?
I've been writing since I was 18. Seriously, since I was 18. After a manic episode I had then. I sort of thought I was kind of different.
Used writing as
And I
therapy?
felt- what?
Used it as therapy then?
Yeah, I guess so. Sure. Yeah.
What made you want to be serious about it?
There wasn't really anything. I mean, everybody wants to have their sort of mark that they leave on the world. They want to, people want to do something productive or that will get them noticed, or I mean, that's it was my thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
So do you envision a book sometime?
I do. I'd like to write a book. I'd like to put a book together. Yeah, sure, but I have to get published a little bit before. Probably. I don't know. I've been looking at this self-publishing website. Who knows?
Yeah, that'd be great. Then you can come back on here with your book and we'll help you push it.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Do you just write poetry or do you write other mediums?
I do a little in plays sometimes, but that'd be it. Poetry and playwriting. Yeah.
Well, songs. Haven't you also written lyrics to songs?
No.
Not yet? Well,
No.
so that's going to be a surprise thing that I'm going to find out.
No, that's not it at all.
Oh, really? Is
That's
it?
not it at all. It's like an intro thing.
Oh, really? So your poetry is in between the songs? Is that how?
Well, on the Arlow song.
Yeah.
You should just let them
Okay.
show us.
Okay, great. Yeah. No, I know. Okay, I understand.
So, Alex,
was
what's the type of subject matter
I'll cut
you
that
try
out.
to write about mostly, or what comes to you?
Oh, I'm sorry.
What type of subject matter?
I write about all kinds of things. I write about consciousness. I write about the crazy way the world is, kind of thing. I try to get at some kind of kernel of truth, and however you get there.
Do you share a lot of your poetry? I've seen you recently come to like open mics and stuff like that. Is that something you've tried to get your truth out there to be, as you say, noticed, to put that creative energy somewhere, or is it more about just the creation itself? It doesn't really matter if people are listening.
Well, I'd like people to listen.
Sure.
Yeah, and I like to go out and meet people. So, I've been doing these open mics recently. I was doing open mics in DC too, but they stopped for some reason. They just,
There wasn't a scene.
For some reason, the poetry slam or event or open mic that I was doing in DC, they didn't have any funding for it anymore, so they stopped. And so it's been so that was the last time I was regularly going to an open mic, and now I've been going to Good Beans regularly, and that's been cool.
Yeah.
What do you see as the difference between the styles in the two places? Or in terms of the people who are performing, maybe?
Well, Good Beans is like mostly music, and the one back in DC was mostly slam. So I guess it is a little different to go to open mic and do poetry that's off the page. Yeah, which is what I do. So.
I mean, a lot of musicians read off the page, technically.
Sure.
Do you find it's more of a intimidating environment here, or maybe less intimidating? There's not all just stacked full of poets.
I wouldn't say I've been intimidated. Who knows?
Well, you've been on, and I really encourage anybody to look you up in the Collab Night videos, because you've been doing them for how many months now? Maybe 6 months, or at least?
6 or 7 months.
Yeah, at least that long, pretty consistently. And then, didn't I see you too at the last open mic over at Churchill's?
Yes.
Yes, yeah, in fact, you're on that video too. So, you've been getting around. I mean, are there any other open mics? I know Brian has one too sometimes, doesn't he? Have you ever been to that one? He has it at the lunch studio.
No, I'll look into that.
Yeah. There's a lot of poets around here. Do you think there's more artists in this area, more poets, than there were in where you used to live?
I'd say it's about the same.
About the same,
Yeah.
really? You just have to find the community, huh?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Well, slam is probably more of a competitive thing. I'm sure there's a prize at the end.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
more just come play.
Yeah, come and do your thing.
Do you feel like you're inspired more when you're in that type of slam atmosphere, which people just constantly trying to push the edge of who's the best and all that type of stuff,
Well, it's definitely been more relaxed. I don't know, that was a long time ago, and looking back on it, you know, it feels like I probably could have been more scared than I was, because I guess it was intimidating, you know. And then it stopped, and now, you know, a long time has gone by. It's been almost a decade, and I ended up here in Michigan, and, you know, hey, I want to read my stuff, where do I go? So, you know, it was hard to find the good beans, the Creative Alliance and everything. And once I found that, I was like, good.
Found your people.
Found my people.
So, is that where you met Arlow's on?
Yeah, Arlow's on. Al, yeah. Yeah, well, Al hosts the open mic, and he told me he had this band. I went and checked out the band. I told him I really liked their stuff. And then I was a fan, and then later he said, well, why don't you read a poem for us, and we'll put it on our DVD, CD, so our album. So I did.
Great. And you have it with you today, too.
So I do.
Yeah. And the CD release party is, when is it?
November 9th, I think.
Yeah. Oh, did you read that in the event? I remember you saying that
I
in the
didn't put
event.
that in the events.
You
I got a little
didn't?
awesome silhouetted flyer last night, actually, that got me up on that knowledge. I think it's going to be right here at the local. There's a ton of other bands playing. It's going to be probably like 7:30 type event. And it's their new CD release November 9th.
Are you
So
going
are
to be
you
there?
before that?
I'm gonna be there.
You're going to be
Are you
there?
going to read your poem up there, too?
I think so.
Okay.
If they don't let you, read it outside.
Yeah. You got a soapbox.
And I think it's, and
Blending.
I could be wrong, I think it is we did read about Connor's book release. I think his book is somehow tied to the event.
Yeah, his book is also going to be, he's also going to be there.
Or he might just be selling it,
Mhm.
but.
He's going to be there, though. So anyway, you could look at that book, and I'd like to have him on the show, too, sometime. We should do that. Okay, so anyway, though, you brought your poem.
Yeah, I did.
Did you want to read it for us?
Sure.
Okay.
Consciousness Radio, in association with Adam and Eve Media and full-time episodic entertainment, brings to you the latest from Apocalypse Productions. The sweep sweeps him up by the brunt of his body as the door cracks open over the stairwell. Every word he has ever said out loud forms a heavy cloud. Where am I and what is my name is now what am I and where is my name? Let me remain as I am like this forever, are the words that linger in the air. Surrounding one of billions of beads of shiny black glass, Consciousness Radio's broadcast of the cadence of the tide triggers the memory of the center of the cosmic eye. A single star brightens, a blanket of soft shoreline recedes. The slim light occurred at the exact time of his death. He was not old or young, but he had the feeling that nothing in this universe could take place without his presence or without him knowing about it. We are water above all else, he says. We are frequency, musical theater. His sentiment rises off the surface of the earth. The light years of tonight's bright apparition once again are unveiled by the tribe leader's urgent retelling. Around the campfire they gather to witness his portrayal of the face of the moon the way it was once. On this, the night of new secrets, dark, fertile eyes, and thumping hearts.
Pretty heavy.
That was great.
You know what, to be honest with you, I'm not exactly sure what it means.
I got a lot of like physics vibes out of it. Like,
Don't
the
tell
truth you were talking
anybody.
about earlier, where it's like, it almost is like a microcosm, macrocosm type of thing, you know?
Sure.
And then maybe, I don't know. If you don't know what it means, I'm going to take a bunch of liberties.
Well, I know why I said all these things, but the core, like what the poem is getting at, it's about something that hasn't happened yet. I shouldn't say I don't know what it means. Yeah, I
It's like
I know
finding
it's-
the end point of that frequency that's traveling up the radio. Is that kind of the idea?
Well, it's talking about an apocalypse, so an apocalypse type thing.
That whole light years imagery really reminds me of, you know, you see the idea of a supernova. It's happened 1,000 years ago. We're just now seeing that type of thing, you know, from across the universe. Reminds me of that a lot.
So you're talking about prophecy, really, in a way, like something that you like a dream or a feeling that you had that hasn't happened yet? Is that really a big moment spot?
It's me trying to understand what will happen in the future without knowing what is going to happen.
Just the mystery of it.
You know, I want things to be exciting, and so I'm trying to give a sort of a preview of things to come. I don't
It's a
know.
really cool piece.
Thank you.
It's great.
And so it's on the album, is it at like the beginning track?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, is it?
Reminds me of
Moonlight?
like Lupe's album where he has like spoken word at the beginning where a lot of people kind of layer in that like heavy poetry as they get into the music.
Yeah. It's type of thing.
Yeah,
Sure.
It's cool.
Yeah,
So
that's
if
great.
people want to see more of your poetry online, do you have a presence?
Oh, you know, I don't right now.
You're on Facebook though. Do you have poems on your Facebook?
No, somehow I'll get something out there and I'll tell everybody where it is.
Yeah,
But it hasn't
you
happened
can
yet.
tell everybody out here.
Sure, maybe. I mean, I don't know where it is, where it's going. So
The internet, probably.
probably, yeah.
Great. Okay, well, if nothing else, you can just keep watching our Club Night videos and see our old ones, and you'll see them on there.
Or you guys can come to Club Night and see him perform and really get the
Yeah,
full
there we
force
go.
of his words.
Is there anything else you want to talk about before we go? We have another video that we're going to watch.
Hey, you want to watch a video with us?
Sure.
All right, so this is our video from the Beekeeper.
Right, this is the Beekeeper video. This is the video where I just happened to run into a beekeeper when he needed to harvest his honey.
Such
And
luck.
he let me videotape him. So it's kind of
Cool, let's check that out.
yeah.
And here I am with Jentry Farmer of Farmer Hunt's Honey. And we are going to take the honey out of one of his hives. And I'm just going to be here to observe. So don't do this at home.
No, right now we're just trying to get the smoker going. I'm using sumac berries. Because once they get lit, they smoke almost indefinitely.
This looks like an old thing here. Is this an old thing?
Yes, I got it from my grandma's cousin.
So how
who
old
was
is
a
that thing?
beekeeper. I have no idea, really. It was his smoker, and he got out of beekeeping 2 years before I started, and he got out because he was next to the airport and his bees kept dying every summer. And so there's different theories into why his bees in particular kept dying. None of them confirmed, except for the bee disease caused by the neonicotinoid pesticides.
So what is the smoke for anyway? What does the smoke do?
There's a couple different theories on the smoke. One of them is and they're all really believable. One of them is that it makes the bees think the hive is on fire.
Oh,
And so they go into escape mode and they go in and they just start eating as much honey as they can and they get ready to move to a new hive.
well, wait a minute. Why you don't want them to eat the honey? Are we going to steal the honey away from them?
They wouldn't eat enough. Yeah,
Oh.
I mean, it's just enough to fill their bellies so that way they can move from location A to location B.
How much
rather
honey do you think is
efficiently.
in there? And this is where we're going to go,
If
right?
that taller hive there, if all of those boxes, we call them supers, are full, then there should be 160 pounds.
Whoa!
We should be taking off
Seriously?
60 to 80 pounds of honey.
And how often do you do this?
We harvest once a year, right around this time.
Oh, so this is the only time I have to videotape you doing this. huh?
Yes.
Great.
Yes, and once we go to open this, you might want to stand back. Cause
Okay, well, in fact, I'll stand back here anyway and just use my zoom.
All right, I'm
Okay.
gonna try and get this lit one more time.
Just harvesting the honey. There we go.
Collecting their I'm collecting their rent.
They probably don't like that, do they?
Not at all. Does anyone like paying rent?
Well, but what would they do with the honey if you didn't take it? What is it?
They would just if we did not harvest this honey, it would sit in the hive until they ate it, and they just continue filling it, except for in the winter they go into hibernation mode. But if this honey was on there, and next spring, within 2 weeks of the bees starting to work, they would probably split the hive, and half of them would start a new hive somewhere else.
Oh, wow.
We call that swarming. That's how the bees have actually survived this long in the wild, because they swarm on their own. When their hive is what they consider thriving, and I don't know what the standards for that is.
Then they make another hive.
They take they take the queen. They take the queen and they fly away. Half the hive. They fly away. Now this is where it gets kind of... So I'm smoking them, and one of the other theories, as I explained one earlier, that they think their hive is on fire, is that it actually interrupts their, it messes with their pheromones and their sense of smell, so they can't detect any other pheromones, which the pheromones is how they communicate. Could you bring me that spray bottle and that? We call that a stink board. But really what I'm doing right now is just trying to keep them as calm as possible, because they are going to get rather mad. If you want to just load that up with spray all over that board. Spray, spray, spray. What I've been spraying on this this box, this top wooden structure over here, we call it a stink board, is a mixture of chemicals that they say contains a pheromone that the bees do not like. And so it pushes the bees off of the honey. But it also makes them really mad. And most beekeepers, when they do this, won't use smoke. But I'm just trying to keep the casualties down. Because when a bee stings, that bee dies. And that's not good. It dies.
So it's not that you're worried about them biting us, you just don't want them to die.
In a sense. Go ahead and set it right on top of there. That's the manly way of looking at it, I guess. So we're going to set this right on top ever so gracefully as Ivan did. And now we wait. We play the waiting game, because they're just going to get, that smell's going to push them out of there. And we're going to continue to puff the smoker. Now we wait about 10 minutes. So for this first super we're waiting on, we just play the waiting game. Once we get this one off, we'll put the board back on the bottom super, and we'll take this over and we'll blow the bees out of it. And once we have both honey supers off, there'll just be the two big boxes left, the brood chambers or deep supers. We'll spread a little medication on them and then leave them for the winter.
So now the honey, are you saying that like on these boxes, I see 1, 2, 3, 4 drawers is what it looks like.
Yeah.
Are those separate hives with honey in each one, or are they connected somehow? So
Yeah,
like a little bee condo, or what is it?
Yeah, they're separate boxes. So you've got, these two are the shallow supers, also known as honey supers, and these come off. And we'll take them and we'll set them in the garage overnight, and then in a couple days we're going to harvest the honey out of the frames. These bottom two boxes, they're the deep supers, are the bees' honey. That's the honey we let them keep for the winter to eat and store, and that's also where the queen lays all of her eggs. So we call those the brood chambers, because when you get a mixture of honey, eggs, pollen, and larvae, and then bees, that we call that brood on a frame, and that's the brood chamber.
And what's this right here? Is this just another box?
This one was, this here lies on dead hive.
Oh, it's a dead hive.
Rest in peace. We tried splitting the hive, which means we bought a queen, and the queen came in this container right here, and we put the queen in here, and we took a couple frames of bees from an existing hive and put them in here with the new queen, and tried to get them started that way, and it just didn't work out. I don't know, it didn't work out.
They didn't like it.
They didn't agree with the queen, I guess. She was
Okay.
putting too much taxes on the honey.
Okay.
But so we just waited a little longer, probably 5 more minutes on that. You could probably stop videotaping if you want for a second.
Well, maybe we can take this time to explain now. Again, what is this? You took the top off, I see that right there.
Yep, this
And
here,
this, and that is, what, it looks like a picture. What is that?
this is an outer cover, or inner cover, sorry. This goes on, just see how this is fitting perfectly on top, it's not overlapping and going
Yeah.
down?
Oh, that's like the lid then, that other thing.
Right, this is like the lid. And then this one is the outer cover. This goes over top of that, and it fits snug. And we put it on a little incline so that way there's an air gap and a way for them to get out. What?
I got one over there.
Yeah, and that's how it looks like all finished up. And
Oh, so this one over here is already been harvested?
oh no.
Oh, you have to harvest both of those?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So we got 4 supers to take off, 10 to 15 minutes on each one, 40 to 60 minutes.
Okay, so then now I'm sorry, I don't understand. Why did you take that off and put that on?
This has a fabric top, so where this is wood,
Yeah.
there's also fabric on that. And Ivan sprayed this bee dun on there, and it's a really smelly chemical that it just contains some pheromones, and the bees don't like that smell, and so they try and get away from the smell.
I
they
see.
go down.
And that's why then you can take the honey out of the top too. I understand now. Okay, just took me a minute.
Now, you know, some bees are stronger than others, and they don't care about the smell. They want to stay up here. So when we take this off, that's why we have the leaf blower over there to blow those remaining bees out, and we'll blow them out and then pull them
Okay.
over there.
So we have a few more minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, then can you tell me any stories? I mean, have you had any experiences where the bees kind of took over or?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Last
What?
time we were doing this, on that hive over there was actually a hive where those cylinder blocks are as well. We were getting in there, and we had just taken 3 supers off of this guy, and so we're going to do the 4th and the 5th on that one. And right after we put this on top, we get chased away. We just the
They
bees were
swarmed?
so there was just so much. It looked like they were crawling in through our gloves, like finding holes in, which they can find those holes, and then you're just stung. And getting stung on the hands, face, and feet, ankles area are some of the worst places to get stung because there's no cushion, no fat there, and so it just goes straight to the bone.
So what happened? What did you do? Did you have to run away and jump in the water, or what did you do?
We just walked over to some woods and walked through the trees a little bit, and that brushes the bees off. Whenever it's colder out, like they might do it today if they get stuck out of the hive. They kind of cling to you just because you're warm, so they'll just sit on you. 'cause
They
you're
don't like the
warm.
cold then, right? Don't they
No.
go dormant in the when it gets cold out, right?
Oh yeah.
So that means they kind of like hibernate, like fall asleep, or what do they?
Kind of. Their metabolism slows way down. In the summertime, a normal worker bee, she'll live anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks. She's guaranteed those first 2 weeks because she's in the hive nursing. She's a nurse bee, so she's feeding the eggs, the larvae, and attending to the queen. And then the 2 to 4 week range, anywhere from week 3 to 4, I should say, 3 to 4, she is going to be right at the entrance here, just flying in and out just as a guard bee. And then 5 to 6, week 5 and 6, she's out flying, getting pollen collecting. And
So when
in the winter, they live straight from now until May because they stay in that hive and they ball up around the queen. And the center of that ball is going to be the queen. That's 95 degrees, all the way up to 52 degrees on the outside of the ball. And then whatever the winter temperature is up here, the outside temperature.
wow, these body heat,
Yeah,
right, to keep
they-
their queen warm.
They vibrate and then slowly take turns on the middle and then work their way
Wow.
in and out.
Oh, that's interesting.
They're really cool.
Okay.
Now this here is kind of interesting and worrisome. This is a worm of some sort. And we want to kill him, and I just made those bees kind of mad. But there's things called wax moths, and they led to the demise of a couple of my hives. they get into the weak hives, which is the reason this hive died. They get into the weak hives, and they just eat the larvae eat their way through the wax and the bee larva and eat it, and that's how they grow up. And there's actually a hive over here that we took apart, and as we're letting the larvae and stuff die, if you want to get video of that later before you leave, and it's a nasty sight.
Now, we're in Swartz Creek, a lot of farmland around here, a lot of people using the crops that are genetically engineered that have their own pesticides. And isn't that really one of the prime reasons that we've had this problem with the bees, that they're getting affected by this pesticide that the plants produce? I mean, has that been a problem for you, or?
Oh, you know, I haven't experienced the direct fallout from that. Many beekeepers in the area have, and it does come from the primary use. They just published this study. I think it was May sometime.
Yeah, in the United States.
In the United States.
Yeah, in Europe they've known about it for a while.
Yeah.
Though.
Well,
okay, anyway.
I mean, there's been activists saying, hey, you know, you can't do this.
In Europe they've been, yeah.
But
anyway.
the study was finally confirmed. It was neonicotinoid pesticides. The half-life on it is extremely big or small. I don't know what the proper terminology is, but basically it doesn't diminish. It takes a long time for that pesticide, that chemical, to leave the soil. So something that's applied to this chemical, so this chemical is applied to a plant now, that chemical is going to be in the soil and affecting everything else in that soil for the next, I don't know the exact number, but 10 to 20 years. It stays there. It slowly diminishes, but it gets ingrained in the DNA of other plants that go there, and they have done studies and found that corn, for example, that has been treated with neonicotinoid pesticide, they've gone to fields around there and collected samples, pollen samples from dandelions around there, and they have found the neonicotinoid pesticide in those dandelions.
And that's killing the bees.
And that is killing the bees.
So it's not gonna. So it's just not going to. It's going to keep being. It's going to keep killing the bees for at least 20 years, even if they quit using that today, right? Have they quit using it?
Theoretically, no. Not. I mean, I don't know of places around here that do or do not use it.
But it's not illegal to use this substance.
But it's not illegal, and even the use of it isn't directly harmful to the bees. It's the excessive and over application of said pesticide. It's putting it both in the flower's DNA and applying it to the flower after the flower has blossomed. If you apply a pesticide to a flower after the petals have fallen, it won't affect the bees if applied correctly, because the bees if the flower's already off, it means it's already been pollinated. The bees already come there, and as long as it's applied correctly, meaning limited amount, it won't get in the soil and affect next year's crop either.
Okay.
So the bees are starting to fly around a little bit more now. I'm going to bring the leaf blower over here, put my gloves and stuff on, and just take a look at how many bees are in there.
Okay.
They are starting to fly out, and this is the time, if you see multitudes of them coming around, or if you can feel, don't run, don't panic. I mean, their first line of defense, because scientists say that the bees recognize they'll die if they sting. So their first line of defense is to fly in and headbutt you. They'll just fly in, and you can generally feel that. And if you feel that, just back away. And that's just a life lesson anytime. If you're walking around and you feel something going like this and you realize it's bees, just stay calm and walk away.
Okay. Cool.
So I'm gonna get this leaf blower. Don't get too close to the front of the hive. It's dangerous.
I'm just trying to get the bees.
I don't like it to breathe on.
There we go.
Makes them aggravated. So, the thought occurred to me that I should blow the bees off when I'm close to the hive, so that way. Oh, that is all. This is all we need. We're just gonna blow them off right here. suited up. So, it appears, if you want to walk over here real quick, if you feel comfortable enough, go around the wide way. If you want to look in here real quick.
Is that gonna put the camera in there?
Yeah. Just look down. It looks empty and deserted. Alrighty, now you're gonna want to back up. So I'm gonna bang this a little bit. Try to be gentle, but you gotta get it in there. They have what's called propolis, and they use a mixture of wax and other gooey substances, enzymes that they produce on their own, and they make what's called propolis, and it's a really sticky, glue-like substance that they use to seal up any holes and stick things together. So we got them out of that super, and even kind of out of this one. They're still kind of calm. Well, you can't see too many of the bees. This stuff, I think it smells pretty good. It smells like a mixture of what'd you say? Lemon pledge and any. Do you get any sort of cough drop feeling from that? Yeah. I smell some of that. Now we can bring this over here, and this isn't too heavy, which is kind of disappointing. But there's a couple bees in there, so we'll just take this. Now you might want to stand off to the side. Can you hold that real quick, Ivan? Now, it's amazing that none of the bees came out, because there are most definitely bees in there. And actually, if you'd like to see, you can probably take your gloves off. You want to try some honey? Fresh raw honey? You can come closer. Let's just walk it this way. Because now we've got the stink board back on top of our hive, and it's pushing the bees out of the top honey super. And we can take a look at some of our crop here. We'll take an outside one, because that's normally, this isn't too outside. There's a little bit of capping on it, but if there was more pollen in the air, if there's more flowers blossoming, we would expect to keep this on longer. But if you look right here, this is capped, finished honey. This is what the whole frame should look like. And the next super we'll pull out, the whole frame will look like that. But if you go on the edge here.
So is this little, are these little things, is that something you made, or is that something the bee made? Did the bee make these things right here?
These, yes, they did. The comb.
Yeah.
Yes, they made that. We put in a little wax, just like a wax piece of paper, basically. It's no paper, it's all wax. And they built this up from that.
Wow.
So if you just stick your finger in there.
Did they use the wax that you gave them?
No, they produce wax.
I can't eat it.
You gotta kind of stick it.
I gotta pick my head up though. I can't.
Oh no, just kind of like try and stick it through the
hole. Oh, I don't want to do that.
Through the net. I've done that before.
You don't care?
Not in that one, but
okay.
Just so you know, you're not. Yeah, I don't care. But it's really good, isn't it? Yes. And you can continue to go. Now.
How are you going to get the honey though into a jar? I mean, is it just going to look like how do you get the honey into a jar?
We take, and so as I said, this is the cappings, right? Mm-hmm. This is capped honey. We could leave this just like this. We could set this in there for like 100 years. As long as it's covered up and ants don't get to it, 100 years from now, this is going to be just as good. Just as safe to eat and just as good. But they cap it. And we take a big, long knife, and it heats up and it cuts the cappings off. and then we put it in a spinner. It's almost like a centrifuge, and this thing spins it, and it gets the honey. The honey spins out to the sides and then falls down, and we jar it from there. We filter
Great.
it and then jar it.
Cool. Cool. Okay. Well, here. Type some more if you want. Okay. So, thanks a lot.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That was very fun. Thank you very much.
Is that-
It's so lucky you just take that camera with you everywhere. That was
I know, I'm so lucky that people will actually let me videotape them too. I know they
Yeah.
always think I'm weird when I walk up with my camera. But anyway, yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was really interesting, and it was kind of scary, you know.
We're kind of getting like PTSD on this show.
Yeah.
You know? You know,
Well, but
educational.
it's the art of the beekeeping.
It is an art. It is an art.
Okay.
Just like the art of maintaining a show.
Yes.
And we got to balance that with some of our underwriters right now. So
Yep.
let's just see what they got to say for us real quick.
Okay.
Let's run to that. And we're back with Arlow's
Arlow's
on.
on, yes.
Allie and Al Harris. How you guys doing? Good to have you back on the show. It's been a little bit.
Thank you.
So I think you've put out maybe 2 CDs since you've been on here last, right?
I think our last one was the Halloween album that we did.
So okay,
Yeah, just
almost a year ago.
Yeah, almost
Yeah.
a year ago. Yep.
Yeah. So you're back with more awesomeness.
Uh-huh.
Tell us about it. What's this new album gonna sound like?
Well, it's basically a culmination of the past 4 years of music.
Everywhere? Or like your guys' evolution?
Our
Evolution.
Awesome.
Yes. Yeah, songs that we've had in our song vaults that we weren't quite sure what to do with, and we took them out once we felt as though we had the right sort of equipment and experience to make them into what we wanted them to be.
Cool. Because you guys have definitely evolved your equipment, at least definitely your sound in the last couple of years.
Definitely, yeah. Just making pretty drastic changes. Just honestly, just for selfish reasons, we just want to like the music and
That's not too selfish.
You know.
And your stage presence too. I mean, you guys have done some really cool shows. I mean,
This
the
bookstore is locally owned
costumes
and is
all
located
that
at
went into that. You really put on a good
132
show.
West
Thank
2nd
you.
Street
thank
in
you.
downtown
Well, we're really
Flint
looking
at
forward
Buckham
to
Alley.
the 9th.
Showcase
Here
for
at the
local
local-
authors and artists.
Yeah,
Visit
the
during the
9th.
second Friday Art Walk.
Because even just hearing you explain everything about it, it's like,
It's gonna be cool.
that's gonna be a good
I
show.
fudged up who the other bands are. What's this playing?
Well, that's okay. We have a Detroit band, Rogue Satellites are gonna be here. And we have Phosphor Elephants, they're a local Flint electronic duo band, they're fantastic. And we also have Emily Infinity, who's outside of, she's from near Detroit. And she has a mesmerizing voice. She plays the auto harp and the gongs.
Wow.
And yeah, she's very, very interesting and very beautiful. So we're very excited to have everyone here. And then we'll have Connor Coyne doing a reading from his latest book. And then we will also be premiering Triple Light music video.
Okay.
Actually, I'm gonna correct that. Connor Coyne is writing a piece of fiction to go along with one of our songs.
Wow,
That he'll
really?
he'll read real quick before one of our songs.
Oh, so
That's
it's
cool.
not his, it's not, okay, not out of his new book, but.
No, he'll have his new book with him to sell.
Just last-
And you
yeah,
guys
it's on
were
the
hooked
album.
up with this fundraising campaign, right? That's kind of how.
Yeah, he used our music for one of his Kickstarters, and then also he's having a book launch here in Flint. We just recently had to change the location. So we're actually going to be premiering one of our music videos there at his book launch. So he's sort of,
That's not
And
the
that's
one
going to
that
be
was
at
at.
the coffee shop?
We're not sure yet.
We're not sure yet,
It
yeah.
might be at the Lynch Studio, might be at the coffee shop. So,
Okay.
but either way, it'll be October 26th downtown.
a week from Saturday.
Yep.
Awesome.
So, yeah. So we're thinking about playing a couple of tunes for you guys
Yeah.
from the new album.
That'd be awesome.
Is that cool?
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right, this song's called Whiskey.
the corn. The Pauly's gonna take it, the steam is gonna make it flow. Add the life from these hands, from the future mother gave you. Your body's gonna make it grow. Charge wide open barrel. Charge wide open barrel. Charge wide open barrel. Charge wide open barrel. The taste is sweet on your lips, on your tongue the buds are blooming, the wild scent is blooming. So let it burn through your heart, let it fuse with your body, your skin is gonna make it grow. Charge wide open barrel. Charge wide open barrel. Charge wide open barrel. Charge wide open barrel. Whiskey inside of me. I know you wanna mix me. I know you wanna drink me up. Whiskey inside of me. I know you wanna mix me. I know you wanna drink me up. Out the door, the air is colder than the last time. The fire inside is born. To the field, lay my head. Down the street I hear speaking, conjuring a violent storm. Charge wide open barrel. Charge wide open barrel. Charge wide open barrel. Charge wide open barrel. Whiskey inside of me. I know you wanna mix me. I know you wanna drink me up. Whiskey inside of me. I know you wanna mix me. I know you wanna drink me up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna play us out though, one more song?
Sounds good.
Okay, so hopefully after.
We just want to thank everybody. We want to thank Alex. You want to come up here, Alex? We still got him on
Yeah.
the set. We want to thank Alex, the poet. We want to thank the Beekeeper Jentry. We want to thank Arlow. We want to thank you guys
All
for
the
watching.
sponsors.
Next month we've got an author.
Yes, Cadaver and Cocktails by Jill Sadola.
That's right.
Yes, it
So
looks
that's gonna be
really
a cool show. Come
interesting.
check that out.
And the band is going to be all of the wild children.
Oh, yeah,
And
all
I
wild
listened to
children.
them. I listened to them on the internet. They sounded great. They
Yeah,
really sounded
it's
great.
gonna be a cool show. Check it out next time.
Mhm.
Until then,
You guys wanna?
give some peace.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for doing it last minute like that.
Yeah, no, both of us.
Yeah,
Thank you.
actually, really,
One room.
this is gonna turn out to be a really good show.